Hi, good evening. Welcome, everyone. Today we are going to discuss a diagram. Actually, it's a process diagram of making soft cheese. So in this particular diagram, we can see several steps involved. The steps involved are, the number of steps involved are 5. You can see that number 1, it's mixing. Number 2, cooling. Number 3, fermentation. 4 and 5. So we have 5 main steps in this particular process. So it's not a complex presentation. So we can see that this step-by-step process is in sequence. So what we have to do here in this particular diagram, that is a process diagram, a flow chart, is that we need to concentrate on the sequence words. What do you think is the sequence words? Sequence words are words which denotes the sequence in the first step, after that, before. So these things are called sequential vocabulary or sequential words, where we need these things to express these arrows. So what happens first and what happens next? We can use this step as, for example, I can use this as ultimately, finally, eventually. So the final product, I can say in different ways. So whenever you see a process diagram or a flow chart, please I do recommend, strongly recommend to use the correct sequential words. So in order to solve this particular thing, we don't have a comparison like numbers. We don't have vertical axis, we don't have a horizontal axis, we don't have numbers to compare in this particular picture. In this particular picture, we do have only sequence. So one moves to next moves to another. Another thing I need to go ahead. The first thing I told you that the steps I told 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We represent it by sequential words. Another thing is the tense, what we are going to use here. So the tense is simple present tense. Here we it's a process. A process goes on. So it happened yesterday, it happens today, and it will be happening tomorrow. So the process goes on. So we have to use it in the present tense. And what exactly we can use the voice there, because it's an artificial process, it's a man-made process. So it is not occurring what do you say, as it is. The voice recommended is passive. Passive voice is the recommended voice. But here too, you have exceptions. So we can say when this is boiled to 100 degrees Celsius, water evaporates. It happens naturally. No one should initiate the process. The thing is that when we boil, water automatically evaporates. So this is the thing here. So here we can use active voice too. We can use a mixture of active voice and passive voice there. So we usually recommend passive voice in an artificial process, but when it comes to a mixture, so we do have, we can use a mixture of active voice and passive voice here, a combination. So it's not necessarily that we have to use only passive voice there in this particular picture. And now another thing that I will have to use and I have to see in this particular diagram is the keywords here. So we have, this is called mixing. So mixing is here. Heating is here. So heating, mixing, these are the keys there. And we can see one more thing here in the picture is that this is in the liquid form. Yes, this is in the liquid form. It's in the liquid form, so it gets thicker. It gets thicker here, more thick here, thicker. So this is the thing here. So you can say that the keywords are there. Keywords. Now can say this is a thick liquid. This is a thick liquid. Okay. So this is less thick. And this is liquid. I can say these are the keys. Now, what we have to see further is the presentation. So the presentation here, let's go with the presentation. Various steps involved in the commercial production of soft cheese are sequenced in the given diagram. So various steps involved in the commercial production of soft cheese. So various steps are there. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are sequenced. It's sequenced in the given diagram. Overall, it's clear that the process begins with the mixing of milk and water and ends with filtering out the soft cheese. Filtering out the soft cheese because it's a production of soft cheese. We are not telling it is the wastewater filtering. It is, we need the cheese. That's it. Now, in the first step, specific volume of milk and water is mixed thoroughly until it reaches the desired consistency. So this is happening. Mixing is happening here. I mark it here. So it was here somewhere. This mixing is happening here. Until it reaches the desired consistency. Yes. After that, the mixture is brought to a temperature as low as 5 degrees Celsius. So it's 5 degrees Celsius. The mixture is brought to a temperature down and kept for 2 hours. Before taking this cool mixture to the fermentation, appropriate amount of salt is added. Yeah, this is another process. Fermentation process is set for another 2 hours at the temperature of 35 degrees Celsius. Okay. The fermented content is heated to achieve the maximum boiling point, that's 100 degrees Celsius. For about 8 hours, it's heated. This helps the excess water to evaporate outside as steam. And the content becomes thicker. So you can say that the content has become thicker. In the final stage, it's another sequence, the final stage. The content is cooled again. So I can say again. So once it was cooled, again it is cooled. So after the initial cooling, it was fermented, then it was boiled, then again it's cooled, again to 5 degrees Celsius. And this is for 8 hours to extract soft cheese by the process of filtration. Simultaneously, the excess water too is filtered out. So that is the end of this thing. So very simple. We don't have any complex presentation here. All the process things are here. Mixing, the main verb is there. Cooling, the main verb is there. Fermentation, the main verb is there. Evaporation, the main verb is there. Cooling, the main verb is there. Filtration, it is there. All the main verbs are there without any problem. You don't need to find any main verbs there. It's very clear. So we don't have any confusions there. And that is the end of the explanation. Thank you.